Today's January 5th, and a lot of people have motivation for what they want to set out to do this year already, but that motivation is going to fade for a lot of people in the next week or so coming up. Most things that people set out to do in the start of the year don't even last until February. And things just naturally slip. It doesn't mean you don't care. It just means you're not planning for it the right way, and you're not putting in the fail safes to make sure that you're going to actually push through on those certain things. That's what I want to talk about today. I want to share a few things that kind of helped me out, a few things that help me actually push through the things that I actually want to do and keep me consistent and keep me coming back to them day after day, so you can actually make progress in those areas instead of you falling off halfway through January, the beginning of February like everybody else. And the first big pitfall is you're relying on outcomes and outcome-based things instead of behavior-based things and changing your behaviors. Everything starts with your behaviors first. You can't try to get to a new goal and not do new things. You always are going to have to change something you're doing currently to get a result you never got before. Because we've all heard the saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And a lot of people do that in their day-to-day. They do the same thing over and over again, the same habits, watch the same things. They just do the same thing every day pretty much. They live the same day on repeat like it's Groundhog Day. And they expect different results, and that's just not how it works. Extraordinary results, you have to do extraordinary things. And there's also a few other traps people always fall into, like the beginning of the year, like right now, it's the fresh start of the year. You get that burst of motivation. Even I have it now. We all kind of get it at the beginning of the year, but the trick is holding on to it. But the first trap is you're relying on motivation too far into the plan, too far into what you actually want to get done. Your motivation isn't going to last all year long. It's not going to happen. You're going to have days where you don't want to do the thing. You're going to have times where it's inconvenient. You got to move stuff around. It's not always going to be perfect, and you're not always going to have a bunch of motivation to do the things that you want to do. Super common one is fitness. Beginning of the year, everybody has all this motivation to go get in shape. Then they see how bad it hurts. They start getting sore. They realize they got to change how they eat. They realize they got to actually keep going there months after months, years after years to actually get real results. And then the motivation fades. They don't have any more motivation. Things like that, like working out, you have to get past the motivation phase and just bake it into your behaviors, bake it into your days. And you have to rely on systems for you to get the results in those things, because something like that takes years and years of actual consistent effort and doing the right things for you to get real results that you want to get. You don't just magically get in shape. The next person you see that's in good shape, if you ask them how did they get that way, they're not going to say it was an accident. They're going to have systems and they're going to have techniques on how they got there. And that's with anything that matters. And also another trap is people set too many goals at once. The start of the year, they want to get in shape. They want to add an extra few grand to their income. They want to fix everything in their house. Like they create a big laundry list of a bunch of things they want to do instead of just really focusing on one thing. It's like a laser pointer that light source is being dispersed in the 5 different areas. It's going to be a dim laser going to each one. But if you just turn off all the lasers and have all that power going to one laser on one thing, you'll actually be able to focus on it and get more things done in it. Focus on one thing at the start. Do one thing each quarter of the year. If you want to do the fitness thing heavy, do it at the start of the year, the first quarter of the year. And once you build a habit, once you have that thing going on, then you can switch to something else. But don't get rid of the last thing. You can stack these things over time when you get the habits and the routines down. You can't add on 10 different new habits you all of a sudden want to do at the start of the year, because it's not going to be sustainable. You're not going to want to do it. And another trap is expecting immediate momentum. Most things are going to take time, and you're not going to get momentum right away in a lot of different things. And it's not your goals that fail, it's your systems that do. You're only going to fall to your systems. I've talked about this a few times on here, but download something like Google Calendar and actually plan out the days you have, plan out what you want to do, plan out when you're going to go to work, when you want to work out, when add in everything you want to do in your day-to-day. Like I plan out this time here. I do it usually earlier than what I plan it towards, because I like giving myself a little leeway with some things. But plan out everything if you want. If you're like me, plan when you want to go to sleep, your bedtime, so you're getting up at a decent time. You have to plan these things out in your day to day, because if you are just winging it all the time, you're never going to follow through on most of these things. You're not just going to just wing your way to being in great shape or wing your way to hitting certain financial goals. You have to plan these things out day to day. And when your phone rings on Google Calendar for you to do that thing, you have to actually do the thing. You can't ignore it or put it off. And I've been guilty of that for sure. My phone will ring that I have to get on the computer or something like that. And there's been days where I just ignored it and I put it off. And then guess what? I didn't get any closer to where I wanted to get to. You have to actually do the things in order for you to get closer to where you want to go. In the first few weeks or even the first few months, but a lot of things are going to suck. It's going to be boring. The stuff isn't glamorous. I know it sounds glamorous on the internet. Some people make it seem really glamorous, but with most real changes you want to do, with most things that are actually going to matter to you, where you want real progress in, it's not going to be fun. It's going to suck for a lot of the time, for the first few weeks, especially when you're not good at something. Like for me, when I was learning how to edit on here, and I still don't know how to edit that great, but when I was first trying to learn just how to basically edit just a basic video and add in B-roll and all that stuff and add in music, it was a learning curve. I had to sit there and learn it. I had to watch videos on it. I screwed up a few videos. I had to re-edit twice. There's just things that are just going to suck that you're just going to have to grit your teeth and get through. And if you're not willing to do that, you're not going to make progress in the area you want to make progress in. And that's why most people fall off. That's why these things don't last until halfway through January, beginning of February, because you get in that awkward phase, which I talked about in my last video. You get in that awkward phase of that change and you revert back to what's comfortable. You go back to what you already know. And that's the worst thing you could do. All the good stuff, all the magic is happening in the middle of whatever you're trying to do, when it's hard, when it doesn't make total sense, when you have to push your limit and actually stretch yourself to actually do something new, whether it's learning something new or you're just trying to get a new habit, a new routine, and you have to just get through that awkwardness and get to where it's just second nature, get to where it's a non-negotiable anymore, where going to the gym or something like that, you're not sitting there debating with yourself about it. You're not trying to talk yourself out of it. You just go when it's time, when your phone says it's time to go. And that's what you build on. And then you start seeing the results of that. And that's what makes things actually stick, is when you start seeing a little bit of results from them. It gives you another dose of motivation, because your motivation is going to fade all the time. So you have to actually keep going through those things. You have to keep gritting your teeth through those things so you can get a little bit of progress. You can get that little crumb to get you to keep going. At least that's how I look at it. It's a cycle usually. And things stick for you making it as easy as possible for yourself. You have to remove all the friction from the things you actually want to do and make more friction for the things you don't want to do. So I'm keeping on working out because it's super popular this time of year. But if that is your thing and you want to work out either right when you wake up, then lay the clothes out the night before and just put them on the floor next to your bed, or put them on your chair or something like that. If you want to do it after work, set out the clothes on your bed before you go to work or something like that. Your shoes and everything. Have your protein already out and ready, or have your pre-workout already mixed in the morning. Mix your pre-workout and take it with you to work, and then drink it on the way home from work. You have to do these little things so you can actually get yourself to do whatever you want to do. Because if you don't have any friction to do it, or you have the least amount of friction as possible, you're way more likely to actually do it. Versus if you had to dig through your closet, get clothes, you had to mix your pre-workout, drink it, you had to do all these extra things, you would be less likely to actually go out and do it. So the more boring and the less friction you can put into these things, the better off you're going to be. Boring, consistent things is what gets you the greatest progress. It's like if you have certain financial goals, like you want to save 3 months of bills or 3 to 6 months of bills, right? Doing the most boring, just working overtime if you can, not spending a whole bunch of money, skipping out on the impulse buys you would normally do, skip out on the nice things that you would get for yourself, and only buying the necessities you need to live a normal, comfortable life and paying your bills without doing all the extra stuff. If you do that consistently, it's boring, but you're gonna get to where you want to go faster. Versus if you were spending on your credit card, buying whatever you wanted to do. Like for me, I was gonna get a gun for myself for Christmas because I did that last year, but I already got a gun for myself for my birthday last year. So I decided this Christmas to skip out on it and just do it for my birthday. It's just little things like that where you're not always just trying to get that dopamine hit and trying to buy things, or it doesn't even have to be in the financial department, but that was an example. But it's little things like that. You keep things boring and consistent is where you get the actual results, especially with the gym, because you don't want it to be boring, like as in working out, because you want to actually have a little bit of fun in there, do something you enjoy so you keep going. But keeping things like your meals boring, or the days are going to go boring, like you're going to eat a few variety of meals that you know are going to fit your macros, or if you're going to the gym on a certain amount of days and you're keeping things static, that's what I mean when I say boring. Keep things the same and consistent. Don't always be trying to spice things up, because that's when you start to fall off some things. If you can keep things consistent, then you're more likely to actually get the results. And when you get further down the line in that, that's when things become an identity, and they're really easy to just keep in your life and be a part of your life. When you have an identity around something, or that's just what your brain forms an identity around, that you're going to go work out, that you're going to save this money no matter what, you're going to invest this amount of money, you're not going to spend crazy on your credit cards. When you have these habits already forming, when you already have these things going, that's the identity that you're forming for yourself. So it's going to be easier for you to do those things for years and years and years, when for others it's super hard to do those things. Because if you go to the gym a lot, or if you go every week like me, right, somebody might say, how do you stay on it for so long consistently? Because I'm going on 4 years now, like consistent full time. And at this stage, it's been a part of who I am. It's not something that I even really think about. It's like it just becomes a part of your identity when you've been doing it for so long. It's just a part of who you are. It's just what you do. That's what you want to get to the point in things that actually matter to you, and things you want to make progress in. You want them to be a part of what you do. You want them to be a part of you. So in the midst of this new year, happy new year, happy 2026. Pick things that you actually want to make progress in. Of course, I'm sure you already have a few. Everybody has a few things at the start of every year. If you reflect and you actually think about your life and you want to get better, which I'm assuming those things are true for you if you're in this video, if you clicked on this video, and if you stayed this long, especially, for sure. But you have to actually do things differently, and you have to live differently and change your behaviors and your habits. If you haven't already, read Atomic Habits by James Clear. Super great way he breaks down how to get rid of old habits, gain new habits, all the good stuff. But you have to actually change what you want to do, and that is all around your systems. You have to build systems for yourself. If you don't, you're never going to make it. Use Notion templates. Write down your goals with deadlines. You have to use Google Calendar. You have to set these things in place. Remove friction and add friction to things you don't want to do. You have to actually create these systems for yourself. Sit down and actually create these systems. It may take you a week for you to get it fully dialed in, and then you can make adjustments from there. But you have to create systems for yourself, and that will make things virtually impossible for you to not make progress in. So keep that structure, keep the systems, or don't rely on motivation. And that's pretty much all you're gonna need to be able to get past everybody else that's quitting things late January or early February. But if you got this far, my name is TJ. Let me know down below what habits you want to pick up, what habits you want to drop, what things you're going to change this year. It's a whole new year, let me know. But until then, I got some more stuff on the way, and I'm out of here. I'll see y'all. Oh, if you found this helpful too, consider liking, consider subscribing. All right, I'll see y'all.